A honing rod or steel is the best way of maintaining the edge of a knife that's already sharp. So what it can't do is turn a blunt knife into a sharp one. So these are very quick and easy to use. You can pick it up and use it in a few seconds. And at home, I would recommend using them about once a week, about 5 or 6 strokes on either side. And professional chefs will be using them every day, sometimes every time they pick their knives up. Traditional steels are made of metal. Whilst they do work, they can sometimes be less effective on Japanese knives, which tend to be made with harder steels. Diamond steels are the most abrasive type, and they remove metal really quickly. This means they'll sharpen a blunter knife than a traditional steel or a ceramic honing rod, but it also means that they can wear away your blade if used frequently. Ceramic honing rods hone even the hardest knives, and at the same time sharpen to a fine edge without wearing away your blade. That's why Togg's honing rod is a ceramic one. Okay, so how does a steel actually work? Well, the first thing it does is honing. And honing is the process of straightening tiny little bits on the cutting edge which get bent over during normal use. And the result of that will be that the knife feels sharper. The second thing it will do is, if it's abrasive, actually sharpening. And sharpening is the removal of steel to refine an edge that's already there or to create a new edge. So the last thing these are really good for is removing the burr that is created when you're sharpening knives with whetstones. And we do have another video specifically on sharpening whetstones, so have a look at that. Most people, especially chefs, will use what I'll call the freehand method. This is when you hold the steel in the air and run the edge of the knife down it. Normally, chefs start with the heel of the knife at the tip of the steel and rotate the knife down towards the handle of the steel. There's another method where you brace the rod against your body. This gives you more control and it's also safer. Personally, I always recommend what I call the bench method, which is where you find a non-slip surface and put the tip of the rod down onto it. This way, with the rod vertical, you can clearly set your 15 degrees for Japanese knives and 20 degrees for Western. It gives you more accuracy and control and means you're not cutting towards your hand. Do 5 or 6 strokes on each side, alternating from left to right. Use quite a firm pressure and keep your angle constant. When you've finished, use a damp cloth to wipe off the black steel dust that accumulates. Avoid getting oil on the surface, and if you do, remove it with some washing up liquid. Use your steel regularly to keep your knife performing at its best. This will also mean you don't need to get your whetstones out so often. The steel is the first thing you should buy to look after your knives.